Jordan, so good to see you today. I wanted to talk about SpaceX since everybody seems to be talking about SpaceX right now, but I'm going to ask, is it an opportunity or an overpriced rocket? There is a lot of buzz around SpaceX and other AI companies right now, but history tells us hype, of course, doesn't always equal investor outcomes. How should we weigh the opportunity versus the hype right now?
There's a lot of hype. Everyone in the news
A
is
lot.
talking about it. It's the most evaluated IPO in history. It's like a rocket. It can go really far or it could implode, right? So we don't know. We got to evaluate that and maybe not put all of our money into SpaceX right now, be balanced, have a plan. But we got to look at that and maybe let the dust settle to see kind of where that IPO is going to land. A lot of hype, but I don't know if it has the financial backings to invest heavily in that at this time.
I'm glad you brought that up because historically, nearly 60% of IPOs since 1980 have returned zero or negative returns over 3 years. That's according to University of Florida professor Jay Ritter. So how should that shape the way investors approach high-profile IPOs?
Yeah, well, 60%, that's a pretty big number of those that
Right.
are doing so well.
Right.
I've had over the years clients, I want to invest in, these big IPOs or these IPOs, and we kind of always tailor things back to the plan and say, hey, we're not trying to chase that next hot stock. We're not trying to get you, the hugest returns in all your portfolio in one position. We want to be strategic and disciplined and have a plan. So we got to make sure we evaluate the data, but make sure that we're not all in on one stock or too heavily allocated, because that could really implode the financial plan. And as fiduciaries, we have to look at your best interest. And sometimes that means having the tough conversation and not agreeing with maybe what you want, but make sure we talk through that.
Right. Now, back to the numbers, which you kind of touched on a second ago. SpaceX was targeting a $1.75 trillion valuation, but Morningstar puts the numbers closer to $780 billion for fair value. How important is valuation discipline when choosing how to invest?
Well, discipline and investing and having a plan is crucial. When it comes to the evaluation, there's a lot of different people that have opinions, like Morningstar and what they initially offered at. We have to look at that. But personally, I do think it's a little bit overvalued as well, just like Morningstar. But I think if there's a major dip or we see an opportunity, maybe there is something in the future, but we got to keep a close eye on that. But we can't judge all our decisions just based on evaluation. We got to tailor things back to your risk tolerance, to your financial plan, and does this make sense?
So Jordan, let's say that I come into your office, though. I'm really excited about SpaceX. I don't want to miss out, but of course I'm wary of the risks. What is the more disciplined approach to evaluating whether and how to invest in a company like SpaceX?
Well, this is your money. We want to listen to you. We want to understand your goals and concerns. And maybe you do want a portion of your money in SpaceX. But should 100% of your money be in SpaceX? No. We are not going to recommend that, but we might put a very small allocation or a portion of that to give you that exposure, and we'll monitor that. But as a fiduciary, we're not going to go heavy on any one stock because we don't think that's in your best interest.
No, it's fun to talk this through, Jordan, because we've talked about this so many times before, right? When it comes to behavioral finance, how our emotions tend to drive the bus when it comes to where we want to put our money. And just a reminder for everybody watching, we do have a great library of video resources on your YouTube page so people can kind of digest that at their own time. That being said, Jordan, if somebody wants to sit down with you, talk through how they're invested, whether they should or want to invest in SpaceX, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, for our current clients, we have a plan. We have proactive engagements and conversations. For people that are watching that are not a client, let's have a conversation. First, let's not talk about SpaceX. Let's talk about your goals, your passions, your concerns. Let's create a financial plan. And maybe inside that financial plan, we can incorporate SpaceX. But maybe it's not right away. Maybe this is in the future and we are patient, disciplined, and we see those valuations where they fall. And maybe if there's a major dip, then we take a little bit of an opportunity there.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jordan, thank you very much for your time today. And everybody stand by for the QR code at the end.
Thanks, Aaron.